Jeez. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Sarpy County Board of Equalization meeting. Today is Election Day, Tuesday, May 12th, 2026. It's 3 o'clock. Copy of the Nebraska Open Meeting Act rules are on the north wall of our boardroom. Anyone wishing to speak either during an open public comment or on agenda item, please make sure you check with the county clerk on your way up, and we'll be happy to listen to you. And we just request that you would keep your comments short and precise for the purposes of keeping the meeting moving along. If you haven't already, go ahead and silence your cell phones. I'm joined today by three commissioners. Commissioner Burmeister is absent today. We have our County Administrator, Bonnie Moore, here, and Kendra Kaler from the Clerk's Office. We also have our County Assessor, Dan Pittman, and our County Treasurer, Jeff Mikesell, here as well. So if you would, please rise and let's say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody from the public want to come forward? Okay, not seeing anyone move toward the podium. We'll get right into the agenda, starting with one item on the consent agenda, the minutes from our last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Warren. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, on the regular agenda, we just have one item today. It's tax corrections, 17933 through 17939. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Pittman, our assessor?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Mixon. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, no need for an executive session, and all agenda items having been addressed as published, the Board of Equalization is adjourned. And we'll get set up for our commissioners meeting. Ready? Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners meeting. Today is May 12th, 2026. It's 3:03 p.m. Nebraska open meeting rules are on the north wall. Anyone from the public can speak on any agenda item they so please. Just come forward when I make the call, or before the agenda item that you want to speak on. Commissioners, administrator comments and announcements. Commissioner Klug.
Happy Election Day. Hope everybody gets out and is able to exercise their rights.
Great.
No comments.
Commissioner Mixon?
I'm good, thanks.
No
Bonnie?
comment?
Okay. Okay, well then let's get right into the meeting. We're going to start today with the proclamation of National Police Week in Sarpy County. That is earmarked for the week of May 10th through the 16th, so we're in the midst of it already. A little tardy on this proclamation, but I think it's really important that we highlight this week because we are so incredibly fortunate to have a sheriff's office that exemplifies what it means to be a dedicated public servant. And it's great to be able to stand up here and celebrate the week that honors their service, which is dedicated and really fearless in many ways. It can be a dangerous job, yet they face the adversity daily without reservation, and they do it with total professionalism. Matter of fact, they put that professionalism on display every single day. They strap on their equipment and go to work. So as a result, Sarpy County is a desirable place to live. Criminals don't like hanging out in Sarpy County because our sheriff's office takes care of that in fast manner, and everybody knows it. We want to keep Sarpy a great place to live, work, and play, and them and the county attorney's office are instrumental in making sure that occurs. So I would just give any of my fellow commissioners a chance to make a comment or two if they so choose, and if not, or after they're done, if they decide to, I'll read a proclamation into the record honoring our sheriff's department, our sheriff's office.
I would just like to make the comment that we also need to recognize the Bellevue Police, the La Vista Police, and Papillion Police. It is, you know, all of our law enforcement, and the beauty of Sarpy County, and I don't think I missed anybody. I think Springfield and Gretna, they're under the sheriff's department. So for all of the departments in Sarpy County, again, the great attribute that we have is they all work so well together as well. And I think Commissioner Kelly said it right, because I know a lot of people don't like to cross the Sarpy County line, and that's a reason that they, that's probably their own reason, but I know what their reasons are, and it's good police work, and we thank you for your service.
I just say that the foundation of our rights as individuals lays on our individual and property rights, and our sheriff's department and our other law enforcement partners in Sarpy County do an exceptional job of protecting those day in and day out in a very professional manner. Very blessed to have you serve the community, and thank you very much for your service.
And we're really happy to have our chief our chief deputy here, Jake Betzworth, representing the entirety of the sheriff's office. The sheriff did reach out to me. He apologized that he wasn't able to make it today, but he's exactly where he should be, attending the graduation of one of his officers from, what's this called? Sarpy Leadership Sarpy? Leadership Sarpy. So with that, I'm going to read this proclamation into the record, and so we can memorialize this week. Whereas more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serve communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Sarpy County Sheriff's Office, and whereas without hesitation, these brave men and women keep our county safe and fulfill their responsibilities with integrity and professionalism, and whereas our deputies confront difficult and even unimaginable challenges so we can live in peace and security, and whereas more than 200 members of the Sarpy County Sheriff's Office, including more than 110 sworn deputies, are honored to serve, and whereas their courage and service to others are an inspiration to our community, and whereas Sarpy County wishes to recognize the dedication and sacrifice of our local law enforcement personnel and the officers across the county who have been killed in the line of duty, we, therefore, the Sarpy County Board of Commissioners, proclaim this week, May 10th through the 16th, 2026, as National Police Week, and I'm going to modify that and call it National Deputies Week in Sarpy County, to honor our law enforcement officers who protect and serve our communities. A round of applause for our fine sheriff's office. And Jake, if you'd like, would you like to make any comments, Jake? I'll offer you the floor. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome. Jake Betzworth, our chief deputy.
Get a chance to talk, I want to talk. I mean, law enforcement is an exceptionally difficult job. There's no doubt about it. But I also just wanted to tell the commissioners thank you for your support. We're incredibly fortunate to work in a place where we receive a lot of support from both our commissioners, our administration team, and a lot of places don't have that privilege. And so we're very lucky too. So thank you for all you do to support us.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, and I would just
If I
add,
can,
go ahead.
Don, just
Go
real
ahead,
quick.
Commissioner Warren.
Most people don't realize the commitment it takes to go into law enforcement. It's not just putting your uniform on in the morning, it's taking a badge that's awarded to you, and that changes your entire life.
It certainly does. Yeah, I'm a third generation law enforcement. My grandfather was a cop. My dad was a deputy as well for 35 years. So it becomes ingrained in you very quickly.
Yeah, I was involved in law enforcement 50 years ago, but the level has so changed now on professionalism.
For sure.
But thank you for everybody
Yeah.
with Sarpy, Omaha, Douglas, all the cities.
Appreciate it.
your service.
And I'm emceeing out at the Leadership Sergeant graduation, so if you see me speeding down 37.
All right, no worries. Yeah, I'd be remiss too if I didn't mention the support people behind our deputies. A fantastic staff of people that are dedicated to make sure that their jobs are easier. And did you want to say something,
I
Jay?
will say that we do have 220 employees, 110 sworn, and the rest of them, of those employees, work to support the 110 people that are out there working every day. So
Yeah.
very important work that they do every day. So
Thank you. And then finally, Commissioner Warren, well, congratulations to you for fathering a fantastic police officer who flies in the skies over Omaha
best job in law enforcement.
for the Omaha Police Department. So congratulations,
Keep that
Jim.
a secret, Jake. It's the best job in law enforcement.
All right, well, that's great. We got eight items on the consent agenda. Unless any of the commissioners want to see one of those items moved to the regular agenda for discussion, I'll take a motion to approve as published.
Motion to approve
Second.
consent.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, a second by Commissioner Klug. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, on to the regular agenda. These first three items belong to our county engineer, Zach Hergenrader. Resolution 124 is item 7.1. It's a professional service agreement with JEO Consulting, Inc. For design of an I-80 interchange, Southeast Road Network Project, C-77, in the not-to-exceed amount of $430,992.50. Zach.
Good afternoon. This agreement is for design of Cape Hart Road to the east and 192nd Street to the south of the new I-80 interchange. It'll connect two current construction projects that we have going on right now. One is down at 192nd and Platteview with a couple structures. Then the other one is to the east near 156th and Cape Hart Road. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thanks, Zach. I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Warren. In terms of discussion, I would say that I was out there on Cape Hart yesterday.
A lot going on.
Yeah, well, the road's closed. I was trying to navigate my way to the landfill. So anyone that needs to go to the landfill or transfer station, use Fairview. It'll save you a lot of time. So, all right, we have the motions out and second. Any further discussion? Let's vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, 7.2 is Resolution 126, is professional service agreement with Felsberg Holt and Ulevig for the design of pedestrian signal improvements in the amount of $44,720. Zach.
Yep, this one is for design of, evaluation and design of updates to existing pedestrian crossings in front of two schools, and then updates to a traffic signal cabinet and controller at 168th and Cornhusker.
Okay.
Right here's Cornhusker, and then we have the two elementary school pedestrian crossings. Are there any questions?
Questions from the
Motion to
board?
approve.
Okay. Second, anyone?
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Klug, seconded by Commissioner Warren. Any further comments or questions? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, 7.3 is Resolution 127. This is a professional services agreement with HGM Associates for 132nd and Main Street road improvements in the amount of $203,500. Zach Hergenrader.
This third one is for design of Main Street, east of 132nd, and then 132nd Street, south of Main, near Springfield. Are there any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Klug, a second by Commissioner Warren. Is this like turn signals, turn lanes?
It may include turn lanes if they're warranted. Yeah, but
And then just one related question, not to this particular project. On Platteview at 130, is that going to be signals now? Is that the final
we're
decision?
looking at signals right now, yes.
Okay, with turn lanes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or comments? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
Okay, item 7.4 is Resolution 116, award the low bid for soybean oil for the suppression of dust on county roads to EDC Dust Control of the Midwest in the amount of $33,825. Beth Garber, Assistant County Administrator.
Asking that you take no action on this item and take some action on the next item.
Okay. So do we need to do anything on that? Just let it go, huh? Okay. 7.5 then is Resolution 137, award the low bid for soybean oil for the suppression of dust and county roads to EDC Dust Control of the Midwest for $3,000 for mobilization and $2.25 per linear foot for treatment. Beth?
Thank you. On April 7th, the Purchasing Department opened 2 bids for the soybean oil treatment for dust suppression of county roads. After review, it's recommended the bid be awarded to the low bidder, EDC Midwest, or EDC Dust Control of the Midwest, for $3,000 for mobilization and $2.25 per linear foot for treatment applications. That's the difference in this this resolution compared to the last one, as we clarified the linear foot cost. We're awarding it, recommending it on the base bid for $33,825. The other bid was $64,869, or $5,000 for mobilization and $4.37 cents for linear foot. We did a test project, or Public Works did a test project in 2025 that proved effective substitute for magnesium chloride. So this just expands that dust suppression program.
Okay.
So what's the total amount on this? It's $225 a linear foot, but how much treatment do we have?
So for the 3 sections of roads, it's $33,825, and the total linear square footage for those sections, let me pull that out here.
Okay, that's simply that divided by the 225. Okay.
Yep.
So it's small areas.
Yep, 13,700 linear feet.
Okay, all right.
So those road segments, I would assume 57th is south of Platteview Road?
So there's a map there. You have the 3 yellow lines. 57th is south of Platteview Road. They give the linear feet per road section there.
So does one soybean application, will that control dust for the whole summer?
Yes, and Public Works is here if you have any further questions on the technical part of that. But
Yeah.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
So the pilot program we did last year, it lasted for about half the summer, maybe a little bit longer. So there's some areas that may need multiple applications depending on the weather and how dry it is.
So but are we limited to 33,000 or?
So that's just for these 3 areas.
Okay,
And then that $2.25 per linear foot
any
would come
additional?
in if we need additional.
how much have we budgeted for it? Just 33 for now, or do we have extra funds in reserve?
We have extra.
Again, I'm not trying to micromanage here, but I've been on those roads with the soybean and there's no dust.
Yep.
And as soon as the word gets out, everybody on a gravel road's gonna want soybean oil
Yeah,
on their
we've
road,
got
you know?
plenty of room in our budget to do additional areas.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing we grow a lot of soybeans around here.
Just general question, why is the resolution 2026-116 going away and this is replacing it?
So in the original resolution, it was just for the 33,000. It wasn't for the linear feet. So the new resolution allows us to have an agreement per linear foot. So as additional road sections come out, we can continue
you.
this project.
Okay, any further?
Motion to approve.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any further discussion, questions? Okay, please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, item 7.6, thanks, Beth, is, and Zach, is Resolution 114, which is, I'm sorry, is that right, a resolution? Yeah, it is. A Resolution 114, Sarpy County and City's Wastewater Agency, FY 26-27 budget. Dan Hoynes, Wastewater Agency Director. Is that a new title?
It's whatever they typed, I just say yes, so.
Okay.
That's right there, Jose. I'll get it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the county board. Dan Wins Agency wastewater director today, I guess. 8901 South 154th, located in western Sarpy County. Beautiful western Sarpy County. I have with me today, Commissioners, also Mark Setow. Mark is the agency treasurer, serving coming up on 2 years for us. So if we get into more, if there's an interest in more detail on the line item stuff, Mark's always here to give me the lifeline in here. My goal here, this is one of the few times that all agency member governing boards are required to vote on an agency item, and that's approval of the budget. And so I tried to really highlight it, and I did pick up the precise and short, I think were the terms you used, Chairman Kelly, but it's not in my vocabulary often, so I'll do my best. The budget highlights right here, our connection fees, user rates, and revenues continue to exceed our projections. 2.2 last year. We expected more than 2 million this year. We've invested that in some CDs for higher interest rates, those additional monies. The really important stuff from my perspective here today is this budget includes completing the design permitting process for all of Phase 1B and Phase 2 and easement acquisitions. I'm going to slide over to the agency master plan here. This isn't the first time you've seen this, but I think it's always important to reiterate progress. After about a year and a half, we did get the WIFIA loan amendment passed. Thank you for your support on that. We're in the process of finalizing the contracts with HDR for the design, Midwest right-of-way for the easement locations, and Hawkins Construction for some management on there. About $6.5 million in this budget for that. But what you're buying, commissioners, with the $6.5 million is the actual design of all of the blue lines, design and permitting of all of the blue lines, and easement acquisitions for all the blue lines. So I'll pause there for a moment if you have any questions. That is pretty significant to come in. That creates the certainty for those development areas. That's funded primarily through the WIFIA loan and a $2 million grant from Congressman Bacon on the easement acquisition so that we can go ahead and acquire those easements in the blue areas. The remaining portions of that $6 million are for the design and permitting, not the actual easement acquisitions of the green lines going out to Gretna in there. And so we currently have Congressman Bacon has been kind enough to submit funding for $4.9 million for the construction of, for half of the construction of this blue line in the center of the Sarpy County. We have a pending request from Senator Fisher for the remaining 4.9 on the blue line. And so I think we have more than a puncher's chance of getting that line funded for construction with free money over the next years. And so we do have to do a match. I guess there's no such thing as free technically, but I think there's some good things going on there.
I just, and I think
Sir.
the blue line out in Bellevue, we did ask for assistance from Congressman Flood, but it wasn't one of the projects that was chosen. But we'll have a chance for, I will have a chance for a reattack with him when I meet with him in June. So accolades to Congressman Bacon, who's really brought the proverbial bacon to Sarpy County
he's been
for
there
our
for us.
projects. He's probably single-handedly done over $10 million worth of federal dollars to the county for infrastructure work. So
He and Senator Holcroft from the state, if you remember his early time, he got us $10 million. Senator Holcroft did. So yeah, we have gotten some local support. It's just a big lift here, but we're continuing, and I bring that up to let you know that we always are very aware of trying to keep our financial viability as an agency, and feel pretty good about that. So any other questions, commissioners, on the design, permitting, or easements? I'm going to slide back over to the budget letter, and there's just two more quick things.
I think Congressman Bacon will get a kick out of it. It looks like that blue line's going right past his house, so.
I think that, I don't know where he lives, actually. Off South.
Nah, it's okay. I'm just
All right, I appreciate that. I won't comment on that. So the remainder of the budget letter in there, the agency debt, when we finish it up, the design permitting easements in there, projected, our WIFIA loan is, would be a balance of $33 million. Since our inception, we spent about $133 million on infrastructure. Really, I think important, and maybe a sense of confidence maybe from the county board. We've retained, the agency's retained PFM, Suzanne Gerlach, to go look at our financials from what we projected all the way back to 2017 up through today, our most recent budgets, to confirm and validate that we're on track, kind of this independent analysis out there, but along with the confirmation and validation of what we've been doing, giving us some direction and professional opinions on 3 specific areas, and that's the updated financials, and that should the agency consider allowing reimbursement back to members who pioneer agency lines using agency connection fees. So Suzanne's taking a look at what we've been doing and should we consider doing this, because the good thing here, go back and forth at stake and be a little bit manic here, there's tremendous pressure from, in particular, Papillion here, Bellevue there, certainly Gretna, even Springfield. They all have development proposals that could use those lines being constructed. But, they have little pieces of them. And so to build the whole is really confident, and we've been pretty firm and resolute as an agency saying, to get a fee waiver is nearly impossible from us. I don't think we've granted a waiver. We've granted some exceptions, but never waivers. They've been asking, well, if we or the development community, what if we go build that? And we're still going to collect the connection fees. Is there some way we could be reimbursed or revenue share, another term, so that we can go ahead and get ahead of the game in there? And so that's really one of the things that Suzanne, those 3 questions are going to help us with Suzanne and her team, young lady Carrie, really, really sharp, but also an analysis to determine if we should borrow the full amount of the WIFIA loan. That's currently, I think, a 5.5% interest rate. Our agency staff at this point saying, I don't know. We've done all we think we can do, and what impact does $12 million have? But maybe it does. So we've asked Suzanne for her opinion on that. And the last one here is, as you're well aware, Sarpy County, as a credit backstop, agreed to put in reserve amounts somewhere, depending on how much we end up borrowing, between, I think, $10.5 million, and hold it there in reserve. And so we're sitting on this now almost $4 million. Should we be working with Sarpy County and saying, okay, we can take on some of that responsibility? Now, the thing we have to be careful for, right now our mortgage is really low, commissioners. I think $1.5 million a year. Here in 2034, 33, we get up to $5.5 million a year. And so now we're hoping the development will still keep pace, but so we got to balance that. So getting that professional opinion from PFM, who has a lot of history, both with the agency and the county, I think was a good move in a good direction for us. I meet with them again tomorrow, a couple times for some early analysis. When I get the draft report, I'll share with all the agency member administrators and convene a separate meeting with them and PFM to walk through and allow all of the administrators to check and question, the PFM response to this. And eventually that ends up in some policy decisions presented back to the agency board. So I could stay here for a while longer, but I think I probably ran out of my welcome time here, but that probably happened 2.5 years ago, but who's counting? That was a joke.
Dan, I appreciate the time. As you go through the different cost analysis or the things you're looking at, if you could please keep us fully in the loop on that, I would appreciate it. And then the usual debt to revenue cost curve that we've been seeing since before we started, would love to see an update to that. And as you're looking at those different options as far as financial models are concerned, how that would impact the curve would be appreciated as well.
yeah, you certainly will do that, Commissioner. And also Mark Tug, he's coming up on his second year, and again, it didn't intentionally not address the issue, but in this budget, Mark has been working 30 hours a week for 2 years in there, and there's a lot of things he and I have been talking about in terms of things like pulse reports and projections, and we went from a little over $300,000 a year in consultant fees for finance for Corello EY to basically $15,000. So we're going to move Mark up to full-time if the agency budget passes, and he'll be really, I think, have a lot more time and effort, Commissioner, to do those things and become our subject matter expert, because we don't have that right now, other than it's limited. He does a really good job, but, you know, he's an accountant right now. We need a financial person. So, but point taken, sir. Thank you, Dan.
I'm not a brilliant business mind, but one thing I know, the quicker you get the pipe in the ground, the faster the money's gonna come in. And that will offset in ways that'll be unbelievable, especially going west.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more cautious as I get older, but, you know, I've shared with some things that keep me up at night.
You're not old enough yet.
Yeah, well, you know, you
Caution
mentioned
kinda
you were in
goes
law
out the door.
enforcement 50 years ago. I think we were in at the same time, Commissioner, so. That's real all. I've had respectfully request approval of the budget.
That DP&E though, project that's basically shovel ready, right, at that point?
Which one, sir?
The DP&E, once that,
The blue is. Oh, 100%.
that'll be shovel ready.
100%. And the green's a lot closer too.
Yeah.
Once we get the design. And you don't even do all the permitting, just the ones that won't have a shelf life. Some do, some don't. Kind of
Yeah.
depends on where that, but Jeff's all over that on which ones we need to do.
Remind me, the D's design, the P is
Permitting.
permitting.
Yeah.
And so does that protect the land?
No,
Or the
no, the permitting
corridor?
doesn't. It just gives us a better idea when we get the funding and to go get the easements. The E of the DPE that we're doing all the blue on, that's the certainty. We own the land. That's where we're building that line. That's just like you funding a road. That's where the road's going.
So just to recap, I think I got one action item from Commissioner Klug. You know, that chart where it shows the debt servicing.
Yep.
After Susan is done with her study, if we could get a
Yep, I'll shoot that over to Bonnie and she can give it to the
change
rest of
one
the
or
commissioners
whatever,
in here.
because we're all familiar with it. We know it gets tight.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the agency has surpassed all the previous estimates that we made, but, you know, we don't want to drink the Kool-Aid, right? So this will help us really solidify where we stand.
And it's a small number by county revenue standards. I see Dan's going to come up and give you an update here, but we're keeping $10 million cash on hand pretty consistently every month for what we're doing.
Any other
so.
questions for Dan? Okay,
And
take
again, thank you all for your support. It couldn't do it without you guys. And Angie.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, the last item on the agenda is our third quarter fiscal year financial update. Dan Halakas, Chief Financial Officer.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. As I bring up the dashboard report here, I'll just do my normal reminder that this dashboard report, as well as some other reports, are available on the fiscal and budget page of the Sarpy County website. There's also a few years of history there, so you can always go back and review any of the quarterly reports for the last few years on our page. So really, we'll go over the two-page dashboard report here. I just wanted to remind everybody that we're looking at a high-level report here over all of the funds within the county. So in terms of revenue, if you look at each individual revenue category, we're all performing very well. We've collected 89% of our revenue budget to date, and I fully would anticipate that we receive over our $201.8 million revenue budget this year. In terms of expenses, again, if you look at each individual expense category, percentage-wise, we're spending very appropriately. I do want to point out here, there's a change in the way I reported this operating expense line. So if you look at that again, just a reminder, this is all funds within the county. We have an operating expense budget of $78.9 million, of which we've spent $19.9 million to date. So that percentage that we've spent is only 25%. When I was up here last quarter, I tried to talk a little bit about that there are items within that expense, operating expense category that we don't actually think we're going to spend every year. So I wanted to convey that a little bit differently here on this report. So I've split that out into operational spending and then this contingency future planning category. So in terms of operational spending, that true operational budget within the county is $31.4 million. All of that year-to-date spending, that $19.9 million, falls into that operational spending category. So that true percentage that we've spent so far is 63%. That really aligns with much more of what we see in these other categories as well. That contingency future planning line, $47.5 million. So I think there's going to be some questions about what exactly is that. So there's a couple examples I'll give you. It could be revenues that are received for a specific purpose. Think of that like Keno revenue or lodging tax revenue. That's restricted in how we spend those dollars, right? And as we create our budget every year, those revenues are budgeted, but we might not budget to spend every penny that we have in those funds. So those unappropriated dollars, those unobligated dollars, those go into a contingency line item within those funds. So that's part of that $47.5 million that we showed here. In addition to that, there's some other items that are set aside for future planning, right? So some things that are examples of that are the $5.2 million that we have in wastewater agency reserves. They're technically in our budget as an operational expense, but they're really sitting there for future needs. Same with $9.8 million that we have in all of our sewer funds within the county. And then in addition to that, $4.3 million that we're required to hold for the landfill closure in what NDEE requires that we hold for that. So those are all dollars that technically are sitting there in an operational expense category, but when we pull them out and really identify them as those are future dollars that are set aside for future planning or unobligated restricted funds, we really get a better picture of what that operational spending in our budget looks like.
So Dan, we're in May and our budget ends in June, right? Are you concerned that we're only at 63%?
I'm not. I think that we always end up a little bit, under budget. We're not going to hit 100% of our operational budget. There are things that we plan for, that we have good intentions for, that sometimes the timing of projects don't necessarily work out. I don't want to single out the county engineer, but when he was up here earlier, he had made mention of having additional dollars in his budget for the additional soybean oil treatments. I'm not a roads guy, so I don't want to speak totally on that. But so there are items like that where there might be some appropriation that's given for road improvements or things like that just based on timing or things like that don't.
Do those dollars roll over?
They do.
Oh, okay.
They do. They'll roll over as cash to the following year.
All right, sounds good, thanks.
Commissioner Kelly, they don't roll over within the specific budget for the Public Works Department, so they'll go back to zero for the next fiscal year. Is that what you're asking?
So what happens to the money? Does it just disappear?
It goes back to the general fund.
So the dollars will roll over as cash, right? And then they get reappropriated the following year. So if a specific department, whether it's the Public Works Department or the Sheriff's Department, comes in under budget, those dollars get added back into what we project for next year's property taxes and then rebudgeted out for the entire county.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The next section on that dashboard report is just a snapshot of what our cash looks like. So those are a breakout of cash by our different fund categories. Here, I just wanted to highlight the ARPA fund. We have $41,000 left in the ARPA fund. That is down to our final ARPA project. That is a siren project in our emergency management department. Those funds must be spent by the end of the calendar year, and we actually anticipate that project will wrap up here in the next couple months and we'll be able to close out. The ARPA dollars, we'll do a nice report to the board at that time on how we spent the ARPA funds that we received. And then the last section on the front page of the dashboard report is a look at our self-insured insurance fund. We'll go through a couple of the categories here. So employee and employer contributions, 76 and 74% of the budget. So we're right on track with what we thought we were going to bring in revenue-wise in form of premiums. Our stop loss reimbursement, we're over 103%. That might sound like a good thing that we're over in our revenue or in that revenue in this fund, but that also means what that means is that we've had high cost claimants this year. So when we look on the expense side of the self-insured insurance fund, we do see that we're at 83% of our expected claims. So again, we're seeing some of those more high-cost claims come through. And our stop-loss premium, we're at 81% as well. That agreement renewed on January 1st, and we did experience a significant renewal in our stop-loss premium, a significant increase in our stop-loss premium due to those ongoing high-cost claimants. Overall, the fund for the year, we are currently have spent $140,000 more than what we've brought in revenue in that fund. Do I have any questions on the budget to actual page of the spreadsheet? If not, we'll move on to page 2. Here we're really looking at a snapshot of what does the first 9 months of this budget year look like compared to the first 9 months of the prior budget year. I'll just highlight kind of one thing in each category here. In terms of revenues, we'll look at our federal revenue. We've received $3 million in the first 9 months of this year compared to $1.7 million last year. The big driver there is our U.S. Marshals agreement. We're housing those U.S. Marshal inmates, and we've received $800,000 more in the current year than we did last year. On the expense side of things, we'll look at this capital outlay item. We've spent $34.2 million this year compared to $28.6 million last year. The board really had an emphasis in the 26 budget on public safety and roads. So we see here road improvements, the capital projects of road improvements, the 1 in 6 plan, as well as the 911 communication center remodel is what we're seeing the additional spending there. In terms of cash, nothing super jumps out. The cash is pretty consistent from year to year. I will point out the general fund here. We have $48 million this year compared to $46 million last year. So it is consistent, and I will show you that spaghetti chart that we've looked at before, where we have our fiscal year or our general fund cash by month by fiscal year. Fiscal year 26 is this bright pink line, and you can see we've followed the same trajectory that we have historically, and we've taken that big jump from operating pretty close to our reserve in March up to this $48 million cash balance when we received the first half of property tax payments. So very typical, very normal as we expected here. We look here at the self-insured insurance fund by plan year. So as opposed to fiscal year, we're looking here plan year, which is January 1 through December 31st. We funded the plan in 23 with $1.4 million in cash. And then I'll point out this plan year performance line in the first year. It's typically a good year. Your first year is of a self-insured plan, and we added $1.1 million to that fund. Last year we added $350,000 to that fund, and this year we're down to $59,000. Now, sorry, this is plan year, so we're only looking at 3 months of activity here. So we've definitely seen a little bit of a change in terms of what that insurance fund is experiencing. So we'll continue to look at that moving forward.
What's the target cumulative performance number we're looking for?
You know, we work with our consultants to identify what we think is a good number to have. At some point here, I believe it's next week, you'll have on your agenda a agreement to move to a new insurance broker, and that's one of the items that we've identified that we would like some additional help with, is identifying what that number needs to be.
Okay. Well, I guess maybe to pinpoint my question a little bit so you can focus in. Will we be given a number as a board that we need to shoot for a target, and so that way we'll know whether we need to adjust insurance payments from employees? What would that be, cost sharing payments?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
And then the last section on the dashboard report is just a snapshot of what our outstanding principal is for the bond issuances, the debt issuances that the county has. You'll note that many of them have a payment that is due here in the next month or so, and several of them were actually approved by the board as part of the claims report today. So in total, we have just about $152 million in outstanding debt principal. That'll be reduced a little bit here after those claims go out. And then we'll continue to update this so that you always have a good picture of what the county's debt portfolio looks like moving forward. So, any questions from the board that I can address?
Just one question about the current budget that we're preparing. How's that going?
We've received all the departmental budget submissions. They are under review. We've passed along some additional information to the committees. We have a position review committee and a budget committee. The budget committee has met once, and we have our second meeting set. We will look at increases or decreases. Yeah, it's Commissioners Mixon and Warren. We'll look at what the requests by department for total overall budget, what that looks like. We're a little patiently waiting right now. We have some outstanding labor negotiations that we're waiting on just to, that really completes the picture for us. So we don't have a full image of what that looks like yet.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thanks, Dan. Okay, I think all agenda items have been addressed as published, and the Sarpy Board of Commissioners, his meeting is adjourned. Thanks for coming.